Welcome to a series called The End of Times. We're going through the book of Revelation, verse by verse, to see what it is we should be doing and what it is we can expect to happen in the end times. And as we've gone through this book of Revelation, verse by verse, we've hit a critical place where we're now watching the destruction of Babylon, and we've been engaged in some declarations by some heavenly hosts and been talking about that. So we're just going to pick it up right there where we left off. Revelation 18, starting in verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, lest you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Render to her just as she rendered to you, and repay her double according to her works. In the cup which she is mix for her double. In the measure that she glorified herself and lived luxuriously, in the same measure give her torment and sorrow. For she says in her heart, I sit as queen, and am no widow, and will not see sorrow. Therefore, her plagues will come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she will be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judges her. And the kings of the earth committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come." For 1 hour your judgment has come. Now, as I was preparing for this video yesterday, it was late last night. I just couldn't sleep, and really I believe what was taking place was the Spirit was stirring me. And I got up late last night, and I'm going a whole different direction than I thought I was going with this video, because God showed me it is about the judgment. It is understanding the judgment, because it's not just about the fornication. It is about that, but it's not just about the fornication. And it's not just about the living luxuriously and denying God and claiming self as God. It's not just those things. There's so much more in that. So I just want to talk about the judgment on Babylon and what is this judgment? Well, because it says right there, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. So this nation that had fornicated with the earth, in 1 hour its judgment is come and end. It came and passed 1 hour. So we're going to take a look specifically at what is this judgment and what are they being judged for in addition to the fornication, because there's some deep things here that I think people will miss. Because when we look at the harlot, we look at Babylon, we see the fornication, we see the sexual immoralities, we see the gluttonous spending, we see the claiming as God, but we don't see the blood of the saints, and we don't see the blood of the prophets and the blood of Israel. And that's what we have to take a look at, because they are being judged for those things as well. So we're going to kind of go back to Isaiah 47. Now, in Isaiah 47, he talks about the coming judgment. We're just going to touch on it briefly, and we're going to jump around. So recommend getting a pen on this episode. Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground without a throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. Jump to 5. Sit in silence and go into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no longer be called the lady of kingdoms. I was angry with my people. I have profaned my inheritance and given them into your hand. You showed them no mercy. On the elderly you laid your yoke very heavily, and you said, I shall be a lady forever. So that you did not take these things to heart, nor remember the latter end of them. Therefore, hear this now, you who are given to pleasure, who dwell securely, who say in your heart, I am, and there is no one else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, nor shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to you in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon you in their fullness because of the multitudes of your sorceries and the great abundance of your enchantments. So I'm just going to go real quick back to verse 6. I was angry with my people, those are the Israelites. I profaned my inheritance and given them into your hand, and you showed them no mercy. Babylon is part of the beast system. It is the harlot. It is riding the beast. The Antichrist rules in Babylon. And it is a war of the saints. It is from the moment of the abomination, there is an attack on Israel. Jesus himself said in Matthew 24, Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. But woe to those who are pregnant and those with nursing babies in those days. And I pray that your flight may not be in winter or on the Sabbath. It's about an attack on Israel. For 3.5 years, this attack, this onslaught of Israel and the remnant of Jesus Christ and the remnant of Israel will continue and continue and continue for 3.5 years. You know, if we look at Ezekiel, he talks specifically about this on the Israel side. So we looked in Isaiah kind of what it looks like from the Babylonian side, but if we look at Ezekiel, why is this happening? Ezekiel 7 verse 1, Moreover, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, And you, son of man, thus says the Lord God to the land of Israel, the end has come upon the four corners of the land. Now the end has come upon you, and I will send my anger against you. I will judge you according to your ways, and I will repay you for all your abominations. That is the key, ladies and gentlemen. They are getting punished. The Israelites are getting punished for their abominations. Before the abominations. So we're talking about abominations prior to the abomination from the Antichrist. Well, what are those abominations? So what you got going on here is you got Israelite being punished for their abominations, current abominations, and we're going to look at what those are. They're current, what they're doing today. And then after 3.5 years, Babylon gets judged for everything they did during those 3.5 years, in addition to the fornication and the gluttonous spending. Ezekiel 7 verse 5. Thus says the Lord God, a disaster, a singular disaster. Behold, it has come. An end has come. The end has come. It has dawned for you. Behold, it has come. Doom has come to you. You who dwell in the land, the time has come. A day of trouble is near, and not a rejoicing in the mountains. Now upon you I will soon pour out my fury, and spend my anger upon you. So they're getting punished for their abominations. Well, what abominations? Well, if we just go one more chapter further in verse 8. So I'm just going to kind of tie all this together before we go through these abominations. Israel is going to be punished for their abominations, current and past. Babylon is going to play a role in that, as well as the beast system. And they're going to assault Israel and war against the saints and the remnant of the Israelites until the judgment. And the next episode we're going to talk about the timeline specifically, but we're just talking about, well, why has all this happened? Why did God let Israel get assaulted? Why did God allow Israel to be, for the most part, seemingly destroyed? I mean, they won't be totally destroyed, but it's going to look like they're getting destroyed for 3.5 years. Why does God let that happen? Well, let's look at these abominations. Go to Ezekiel 8. Go to verse 4. And behold, the glory of the Lord of Israel was there, like the vision and I saw in the plain. Then he said to me, Son of man, lift your eyes now towards the north. So I lifted my eyes towards the north, and there, north of the altar gate, was an image of jealousy in the entrance. Furthermore, he said to me, Son of man, do you see what they are doing, the great abominations that the house of Israel commits here, to make me go far away from my sanctuary? Now turn again, and you will see greater abominations. So there's the abominations of the past. There's the abominations they committed the first time they got led off into captivity. Let's keep going. Verse 7. So he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, there was a hole in the wall. And he said to me, Son of man, dig into the wall. And when I dug into the wall, there was a door. And he said to me, Go in and see the wicked abominations which are in there. So I went in, and there every sort of creeping thing, abomination of beast, and all the idols in the house of Israel portrayed, all around the walls. And there stood before them 70 men of the elders of the house of Israel. In the midst stood Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan. Each man had a censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. So what we're seeing here is this was the moment in time where the kings of Israel were killing the prophets. And this is essentially a war on the prophets, and this was an abomination. Go to verse 13. And he said to me, Turn again, and you will see greater abominations that they are doing. So he brought me to the door of the north gate to the Lord's house, and to my dismay, women were sitting there weeping for Tammuz. Tammuz is the god of violence, and I'm going to ask you to just do a Google search on who is Tammuz, and you're going to see a familiar name, and they've been ruling that god, and those worshipers have been ruling over the site of the temple for hundreds of years up until 1948, and that's that moment in time. Now let's keep going. Then he said to me, have you seen this, O son of man? Turn again, you will see greater abominations than these. So he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and there at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, and their backs towards the temple of the Lord, and their faces towards the east, and they were worshiping the sun towards the east. And of course, we see that now. I mean, you can go to the Temple Mount now, and that's what you will see there now. This is what's taking place right now. Great, all these abominations, that is the greatest one. Let's keep going. Then he said to me, have you seen this, O son of man? Is it a trivial thing to the house of Judah to commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and they have returned to provoke me to anger. Indeed, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore, I also will act in fury. My eye will not spare, nor will I have pity. And though they cry in my ears with a loud voice, I will not hear them. And because of that, Babylon rolls in. But because of the way they treat Israel, and it's because of that, and that's kind of where now we're circling back around. Well, what is this judgment? But you got to understand why God allowed that to happen. It was part of the process. It was part of the plan. Israel's abomination, to this very day, they will be held accounted for. And that accountability is a total onslaught by the beast. So we go back to Isaiah 47, starting verse 10, regarding the destruction of Babylon and their judgment. For you have trusted in your wickedness. You have said, no one sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge have warped you. And you have said in your heart, I am, and there is no one else beside me. Therefore, evil shall come upon you, and you shall not know from where it arises. And trouble shall fall upon you, you will not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon you suddenly, which you shall not know. Stand now with your enchantments, and the multitude of your sorceries, in which you have labored from your youth. Perhaps you will be able to profit, perhaps you will prevail. You are wearied in the multitude of your counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save you from these things that shall come upon you. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame, shall not be a coal to be warmed by, nor a fire to sit before. Thus shall they be with you, with whom you have labored, your merchants from your youth. They shall wander each one to his own quarter. No one shall save you. So ultimately what you have is this nation Babylon is filled with a multitude of tribes, tongues, ethnicities, religions, and they're all gluttonous spenders. They all engage in fornication. It's just a party. It's a big party nation that is fear of nothing. They just think nothing bad will ever happen to us. But that nation leads the beast system to war against Israel and the saints, the remnant of Jesus Christ. We don't like to jump ahead in Revelation, but I just want to do this for the sake of this conversation. As we watch the destruction of Babylon come to a close, there's something that these heavenly hosts making these declarations say in verse 18:23. And the light of a lamp shall not shine in you anymore, and the voice of the bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you anymore. That is very tragic. Of course, we'll talk about that when we get there. For your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by sorcery all the nations were deceived. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and saints and all who were slain on the earth. It's because of Babylon and the beast system. Let's keep going. After these things I heard a loud voice of a great multitude in heaven saying, Alleluia, salvation and glory and honor and power to the Lord our God. For true and righteous are his judgments, because he has judged the great harlot who corrupted the earth with her fornication, and he has avenged on her the blood of his servants shed by her. That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. They're being judged for what they do over those three. It's not just about the fornication. That judgment will come. And again, the next episode, we'll talk about the timeline. When's Babylon get destroyed on the timeline? And we'll hit that in the next episode. But it's near the end. And they're going to be held accountable for killing the remnant, for warring against the saints, for warring against the remnant of Israel. They're going to be held accountable for that, for invading Israel, for all the abominations that they will perform at the temple. They're going to be held accountable. So Psalm 137 verse 8 tells us, O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed, happy shall he be who repays you as you have served us. Happy shall he be who takes and dashes your little ones against the rock. If we go back and read the verses that we're kind of focused on in this episode, Revelation 18, starting verse 9. And the kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived luxurious with her will weep and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, standing at a distance for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour your judgment has come. So there you go. Again, next episode we'll talk about the timeline on this to give a little more detail, but any insights you might have on this, thoughts, put it below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. If you feel called to support this channel with Patreon, that link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.